Today we're going to talk about 6 earbuds that will give you the best crisp and clear sound under $100, and it's a special one because it's another collab time, and we've got none other than James from Picky Audio sharing his top 3 picks. So what are we waiting for, right? Let's get started right now. Selamat pagi! Good morning everyone, Kenneth here and James as well, bringing you our top picks for clarity under $100. So these are the ones that will give you an awesome listening experience catered to you who prefer clean treble detail above anything else. Over on James' channel, we have our top picks for bass, so do check that out. I'll link it in the description below, and also help us out by using the affiliate links if you want to buy the stuff. Enough rambling now, let's start with the top 3 picks coming from James' side.
Hey everyone, and thank you Ken for having me on your channel with your trusted viewers. It's great to be back here. So look, no time to waste. Let's just keep the ball rolling. On to bud number 1, we have the One More ColorBuds 2. Now the sound on these earbuds definitely are quite niche. They're not going to suit many people's taste because these are one of the flattest earbuds that I've ever reviewed. So if you like your flat tuning, then these are going to be great for you. But still, they're not just completely flat. They do have a bit of pizzazz and a little bit of boosting in certain areas. So the bass you are getting here, very natural. It's going to sound a little bit lacking if you do like your bassier earbuds. I love my bassy earbuds, but I can still appreciate the natural bass response on these. Mids are boosted really well here. Vocals come through nice and clean. They never feel forced. Same with instrumentation, but the treble here is probably the star of the show, I would say, because it has a nice amount of boosting. It has some excellent sparkle, some of the best sparkle in any price range I can really say. And the detail and resolution here, although not on like the level of pairs like the Sony WF XM4s or Sennheiser Momentum 2s, but surprisingly come very close to those earbuds. And since that bass is quite minimal, the focus is going to be on the mids and the treble, so instrument separation is great. You can really pick out where instruments are coming from in electronic music, as well as for instrumentation. The only thing is the soundstage is a little bit closed in, but for the price you are paying here, it's actually on par with the competition. So overall with this bud, it's kind of refreshing to have something that's a little bit different that isn't your kind of bass head or like kind of balanced sound here. It's very flat, but still that extra treble boost I really do appreciate, but not for everyone, but hopefully that explanation helps you figure out if it is going to be suited for you. All right, now into bud number 2. We're kind of flipping it around here, a bit more bass on these buds. We have the Edifier NeoBuds Pro. Now this bud here, it's kind of a bassier bud, but the fact that you have some EQ customization really does allow you to make these a little bit more balanced. Nowhere near flat. You can't really make these a flat sounding earbud because the bass is quite boosted on the stock setting. But when we jump in the EQ, I know Ken and I have a similar EQ customization that we like. We both like to dial the bass down ever so slightly and kind of boost the mids and dial the treble down, because that treble on the default setting did get a little bit harsh. So on this setting here now, they're a lot more balanced. They still have a decent amount of thump in both that sub bass, a little bit more in the mid bass. So bass lines come through really great. Any kind of music, electronic music as well. Your kicks will have nice deep rumble to them. And the mids, although slightly recessed, are forward enough. So you get great detail and a nice rich sound, kind of combining that mid bass and that mid range. So vocals, especially male vocals, have nice depth, nice and rich, but this also carries over to the upper mids and the treble because a nice boosting here. So female vocals come through nice and clear. All your instrumentation, acoustic guitars, distorted guitars, percussion, rise cymbals, hi-hats have excellent detail, especially for the price you're paying here. It's pretty hard to get this kind of resolution and detail. And speaking of resolution, these are one of the few earbuds to have the LDAC codec. So if you use an Android device, this will improve your sound quality by a solid 10% overall. So you're going to lose a bit of battery life. Not too much, maybe like 15% overall, but a nice option to have there if you use high quality streaming services like Tidal or Apple Music with their lossless audio. But back to the sound, instrument separation at this price, some of the best you can get. And soundstage, surprisingly, also some of the best you can get, considering these are a little bit more of a bassier earbud, more on the balance side, but get quite an open sound, definitely above average for this price range. So overall, if it's nice clarity, nice balance, but you still like a little bit of extra thump in the low end, these are one of the best you can get at their price. And they do retail for $129, but they probably will go on sale for close to 100 on AliExpress. They go for close to that. So I just had to chuck them in. They're close to 100, but they're slightly above, but they're in here anyway. All right, now onto bud number 3 and sort of 4, but they're kind of like half each here. because I'm going to talk about the Sennheiser CX True Wireless earbuds, which I don't actually own, but I do own the 400BTs. I reviewed them a while back, and going off El Jefe's review, these basically have the same sound as the CX True Wireless earbuds, which are the newer pair. They did increase the bass ever so slightly, but I kind of trust him. He says they sound very similar, and they do have some extra features, more battery life, all that good stuff. So this is kind of a half earbud there, because when it comes to a similar balanced sound like the Edifier NeoBuds Pro, I have to give it to the CX 400BT, because although they aren't as bass heavy as the NeoBuds Pro, you are getting a little bit nicer treble, a bit wider soundstage, and better instrument separation. So a similar sound there. You don't get noise cancelling and transparency mode, but you still get that EQ customization and some app customization as well. So look, I don't own them, so that's why that's one of my half ones. And now onto the next one here is the Earphone OLove edition. Again, a pair you probably can't really get because they don't really go on sale too often, so I'll quickly talk about them. An easy comparison is comparing those to the One More ColorBuds 2, because the Earphone OLove edition, they kind of have a similar tuning to the One More ColorBuds 2, with a little bit of extra kick in the low end, a little bit of extra sub bass and mid bass, and everything else kind of stays similar. So overall, I do like the tuning a little bit more on the OLove edition. Only issue is you probably can't get them, so that's why that's my number 3 spot there. We've kind of got 2 earbuds, half each. But anyway, that wraps it up for my 4 kind of. So I'll leave you with Kenn for the final 3 earbuds. Again, thanks for having me, and I'll see you in another video, hopefully. Bye now.
All right, thank you, James, for those awesome picks. Now, let me tell you my topics for clarity, the kind of sound that I personally love. So let's continue with number 4. Here we have the Haylou W1. This is an earbud I should have checked a long time ago. It's a budget one, but still sounds so dang good. Selling at under 35 bucks, this competes head to head with my current favorite, the Feel T1 Lite. Or actually, wait. It sounds better than the Feel. So the sound you're getting out of this thing is a mild V-shaped tuning like that on the Edifier NeoBuds Pro, but less extreme on the bass end. So it's got that overall balance, and compared to the Feel T1 Lite, it still has a stronger bass presence that hits deep, and of course you get that sweet crispy treble thanks to the balanced armature driver. Not only that, the sound staging is also wider. It's really nice, but it's not without its faults. So because it is V-shaped, sometimes when the music gets crowded, the vocals could get left behind in the mix. That's in contrast with the Feel T1 Lite that brings focus on the vocals, so it stays forward at all times despite having a smaller soundstage. So the choice is up to you. I think both options here are really some of the best picks you can get for the price. Okay, moving up to number 5, we have the Moondrop NEKOCAKE. In my review, I've recommended changing the EQ as the first thing you have to do after unboxing it. That's because the Moondrop Classic EQ opens up the soundstage, makes everything balanced and clear across the frequency. It instantly becomes one of the best sounding earbuds you can get under $50. It's classic Moondrop, alright? They're well known for their spacious and natural sound reproduction. Starting from the bass, while it doesn't have that extra sub-bass presence like the Haylou W1, but it's still plenty enough, and most importantly, it represents the bass notes accurately. The mids are always front and center, sounding full and natural no matter if it's female or male vocal, and finally the treble is complemented with just the right amount of sparkle and airiness. That makes the hi-hats and cymbals sound realistic without being piercing. But to be completely honest, this earbuds has a lot of downsides. Like 1, there's no transparency mode. 2, the battery life only nears 4 hours with ANC on, and among other things, the whole selling point of NEKOCAKE is pretty niche. That's why I also want to mention the Moondrop Sparks, which cost 90 bucks. It's still within the scope of this video, but it offers a solid improvement to the sound quality over the NEKOCAKE. It's about how everything blends together, especially on the bass end. It's more powerful without compromising on the other frequencies. It's the closest thing you can get to their IEM sound, and so if you have the budget, I think you'll definitely enjoy the sound offered here. Lastly, on number 6, I've really put some thought into this. I could put in some flat sounding earbuds like the One More ColorBuds Pro or Soundpeat Sonic Pro, but if we're talking about clarity, I have to admit the Sabbat E16 is a force to be reckoned with. So it uses a balanced membrane driver which stacks a balanced armature layer on top of the usual dynamic driver. It's a very cool tech, a first in any true wireless earbuds, and it produces some of the most crisp and clean trebles around. If that's your cup of tea, which it probably is, or else why would you click on this video? then this is the perfect earbuds for you. Just keep in mind that it's got the lightest bass on this list and the trebles are right on the edge of being piercing. But I tell you, it is the satisfying kind and I definitely enjoy my time with it, and I think you will too. The downside? Well, expect a considerable amount of background hiss, which could be noticeable in quieter parts of a song, which is quite a deal breaker. But yeah, that's just a thing with Sabbat earbuds in the past. They haven't fixed it on this one, unfortunately. So that pretty much wraps it up. Let us know which one is your personal favorite, and do check out the other side of our collab, the top 6 earbuds for bass. Don't forget, use the links below to help us out. And with that said, thank you so much for watching. I'm Kenneth, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.